do if someone said to you, I have this wonderful problem? The seeds for Farm to Freezer were planted exactly a year ago at TEDxManhattan. I was watching from my local viewing party at Bethesda Green in Maryland, just next door to Washington, D.C. That day, Sue Kirk, the executive director of Bethesda Cares, was telling me about their clients, the chronically homeless, and their mission to move the homeless off the streets and into permanent housing. They begin this process by alleviating hunger. Bethesda Cares provides a hot meal to the homeless every day. They provided 20,000 meals last year. The wonderful problem that Sue described was that Bethesda Cares receives more fresh donated produce than they can use before it spoils. Well, without even thinking, I just blurted out, well, it's obvious, let's freeze it. Those words ignited my food passions. You see, after working in the nonprofit sector for many years, I went back to school to gain some business skills. I chose the Bainbridge Graduate Institute and earned my MBA in sustainability. I believe that we can use the power of business to do public good, and I wanted to change my local food system. So in my conversation with Sue, in that moment, I realized that Bethesda Cares' problem was a wonderful opportunity. You see, by preserving fresh produce, we can simultaneously tackle food waste, nourish the hungry, support local farmers, and even provide job training. Our challenge was, could we put all these pieces together? Bethesda Cares had several pieces of their food puzzle. They just hadn't put them together yet or found the synergy between them. Local farmers donate fresh produce and receive a tax deduction. Faith-based communities open their kitchens to serve their social mission. Volunteers enjoy giving back to community, and all of this comes back around to Bethesda Cares being able to provide more nutritious food for their homeless clients. We started small in our first season, or so I thought. Every Saturday, we would go to the farmer's market and pick up unsold produce from Spiral Path Organic Farm. I was expecting to pick up about 135 pounds when actually we picked up between 300 and 400 pounds every week. Volunteers would find us and sign up online and then join us in donated kitchens every Saturday. We collected, we washed, we chopped more than 5,000 pounds of food. Well, that's enough to fill 5 half-ton pickup trucks. We cooked tomatoes, vegetables, and herbs into tomato sauce. We blanched vegetables to preserve their color, taste, and texture. And because Bethesda Cares homeless clients hate eggplant, you too, we roasted it first to bring out its sweetness. And so far, no one's complained. We even composted the kitchen scraps, so nothing was wasted. We vacuum sealed our vegetables to extend their freezer life. And Blake, the Bethesda Cares cook, is now incorporating our sauce and vegetables into his soups and stews and casseroles all winter long. And I am so proud to say that we have filled the freezer. In fact, we have filled 10 freezers. And this makes 2,500 more nutritious meals for Bethesda Cares clients. This is the face of a person who is homeless. Homeless men, women, and children suffer from hunger, malnutrition, and food insecurity every day. Their poor diet will lead to chronic illnesses like diabetes, hypertension, and cardiovascular risks. And even for those who are not homeless, 1 in 6 Americans lack a secure supply of food for their tables, and many suffer from the same chronic illnesses. Some rely on our nation's food pantries, and while this food will fill the belly, it's not nutritious. Now, at the same time, a recent study by the Natural Resources Defense Council, who we heard from earlier today, said that Americans waste an astounding 40% of all the food produced in this country. 40%. And food is wasted all along the food supply chain, from farms to our plates. 6 billion pounds of fresh produce goes unharvested or unsold every year. So you see, with these realities, farm to freezer is a simple solution. Our challenge going forward is, how do we take our fledgling project and turn it into a social enterprise? What I mean is, how do we scale up and make farm to freezer self-supporting? Well, we learn from the pioneers in food recovery, processing, and job training, organizations like DC Central Kitchen, and we learn from business. I'll share with you 4 lessons that I've learned and that you can replicate in your communities. Lesson 1, find your community synergies. Farm to Freezer needs a lot of volunteers, and among our volunteers, the Montgomery County pre-release program contacted us. Last summer, their residents who are incarcerated people, soon to be released back to our communities and who need to give back to our communities, came and helped us out at the farmers market every week. This year, we hope to provide some job training for them. Farm to Freezer also needs a lot of extra commercial kitchen space, and organizations and agencies like Family Services that provide psych rehab, they will welcome us into their kitchens in exchange for us teaching their clients cooking skills. And our local college will also welcome us into their kitchen. And we hope to provide and help them start a kitchen incubator program. So find your community synergies. Lesson 2, find your niche. Now, it turns out that Bethesda Cares having extra produce in the summer is a common problem all over the country. Manna Food Center, our local food bank, gleans thousands of pounds of fresh produce every week from farmers markets all summer long. But in the winter, they receive potatoes, lots and lots of potatoes. So Manna would like to be able to provide healthier vegetables in the winter to their clients, frozen vegetables. So you see, Farm to Freezer has a seasonal market niche. Lesson 3, tell a compelling story. In order to make Farm to Freezer self-supporting, we plan to sell some of our products at hybrid pricing. What I mean by that is we'll sell our tomato sauce and our vegetables at market rate to subsidize the cost of this frozen food to our partner stakeholder groups like Manna and Bethesda Cares. The question is, would people buy our sauce? Well, it turns out from our taste tests and our market surveys that people will indeed buy our sauce. In fact, people are willing to pay $8 to $10 for a quart-sized bag of our frozen tomato sauce. Why? Well, they tell us it's because our sauce is organic, it tastes great, uses healthy ingredients, is locally produced, and people like our social mission. Farm to Freezer has a compelling story. Markets are clamoring for our product even before we've produced it. Markets like Mixed Greens Market and Washington's Greengrocer. Lesson 4, define your business for good. We plan to make Farm to Freezer a for-profit social enterprise. It will have a legal designation as a Maryland Benefit Corporation. Now, Maryland is the first of 12 states, and many more are in the works, that have this legal designation. Benefit corporations first define their social values and then are held to a high standard for accountability and transparency. This designation will signal to our customers as well as potential investors that Farm to Freezer is about more than maximizing profit, that we serve a triple bottom line of people, planet, as well as profit. What would you do if someone told you that they had this wonderful problem? Farm to freezer is a simple solution. By preserving local fresh produce to nourish the hungry, we've capitalized on all of these lessons. And while there are still many, many more pieces of this puzzle to put together, we're encouraging all these wonderful community synergies. We're finding our market niche. We're telling our compelling story. We're creating a social enterprise. What would you do with this wonderful problem? What could you do in your community?